broadcasting this stupid flipboard, uh, trying to push Trump on us at the Associated Press. They're saying report this flip, but they don't really give you no option to report the flip. Look at that. I don't want no news about y'all uh, president in my phone. Don't put no kind of news about y'all president in my phone. I don't subscribe to that shit. I'm sorry for real. And do not put none of that stuff in my broadcast. Okay. Y'all, I mean, not my broadcast, I should say, y'all broadcasting it to me. And I don't want nothing that got to do with y'all president in my presence at all. I don't got nothing to do with him. I don't got nothing to do. I ain't following none of this stuff, so they say I am. But anyway, that's the way the website is set up. Don't put this bullshit in my thing no more. I don't want this kind of stuff. I want to make that clear to Flipboard or whoever y'all is, Associated Press, which y'all know, no news having asses. I take that back. I like Associated Press, but I don't want to hear nothing. Why people don't know what they good features are, and to the point, what I mean by what they good features are is why people don't understand um, when uh, hmm, you got a good product, you don't want to contaminate it with trying to be like everybody else. We're responding to some comments right quick while we're waiting on people to come in. First thing we're going to do is we got to know how to spell affidavit. I noticed when I first started writing affidavits, I used to spell affidavit wrong. I used to spell it AFADIFIT or something like that. Anyway, but this is how you spell affidavit. AFFIDAVIT. Okay. We're gonna take a look at a short video, see what they had to say, what an affidavit is, and then we'll discuss it.
So an affidavit is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it holds more weight. In a courtroom, evidence is weighed based on its authenticity, and an affidavit is viewed the same way as standing in court and providing an oral story about something. So it's kind of the same thing, except written down. So an affidavit is...
All right, let's discuss that. Now, she said an affidavit is written down. You got to first write something down, okay? So, since we understand that affidavits is something written, then can we say everything that we write down is an affidavit? Okay. If I write a song lyric, is that an affidavit? If I write a title to a video, is that an affidavit? She said, when you write something down, that's an affidavit. Hold on. We're going to subscribe to her channel, too. She got some good information over there. All right. But let's keep watching and listen closely. Sometimes we have these short videos because there's so much information packed in just what was said. You don't need to listen to nothing else. You need to just keep listening to that until you really get what's being said. So an affidavit is what? Y'all type in the comment section what you think an affidavit is. I'm going to leave it right there. Y'all type in the comment section what you think an affidavit is. What is an affidavit? What do you think an affidavit is? We're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. I'm going to pull out a real affidavit once we get some more viewers in. We're going to pull out a real affidavit.
Is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's
Let's go back. We don't take us too fast, Sally. Okay, let's go back. So what is an affidavit? Something wrote out on a piece of paper. Whole cloth, however you want to put it. But that is what an affidavit is. I would really like to get some questions specific to this topic so that we can address some of the questions that people have. I know people have a lot of questions concerning what is an affidavit, but because people are sometimes embarrassed to say that they don't know something, they'll just continue to pretend that they do. Um, so what is an affidavit? What do you think an affidavit is? If you'd like to join in and participate in the chat, type in the comment section, let me in.
Affidavit is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it holds more weight. In a courtroom, evidence is weighed based on its authenticity, and an affidavit is viewed the same way as standing in court and providing an oral story about something. So it's kind of the same thing, except written down. So an affidavit is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it holds more weight. In a courtroom, evidence is weighed based on its authenticity.
All right. This is what we want to discuss. The court, the weight of affidavit in the court. She mentioned the weight of an affidavit in the court because a lot of people don't know when you write something down or when you uh, create something, the good part is you created something. The adverse part of it that is that you've also created something positive and negative. And I'm going to explain that, what I mean by you create something positive and negative. When you create something, you create, on the positive side, the implications of it, it's an idea, it's a creation, and it can be used in business. And this is the reason that they have the social media platforms and everything like that. Uh, free. A lot of stuff is free for you to access it to some extent. It's free because of the fact that there's an exchange being made there between two parties in agreement when you sign up, for example, when you sign up for YouTube, you sign an agreement. Both parties are agreeing to come together in business, in commerce. And you thought you just sign up for something online and you wanted to be a part of the crowd and you wanted to be uh, up to date with the new technology and so forth, and just be a part of that um, technology community. When you made the decision to um, sign up for YouTube, or um, you made the choice to um, get a Facebook page and promote things from uh, artifacts and pictures and different affidavits or documents from your life, articles. When you post on your Facebook page, that is literally an article. It's an article of your life. It's saying this is the way my life goes. It's going, it's governed. This is what's important to me in my life. And you're literally creating articles and don't know it. You just think you posting here and posting there and don't understand the significance of what you're doing. And that's why we having this broadcast, because a lot of people are not aware of what they're doing. For example, when their YouTube channels get taken down, and I've said all kinds of real and explicit and very raw things on YouTube, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Everything that I say is um, honor, in honor. In other words, if I go off on somebody and chop them up, I'm not demeaning the person. I'm demeaning the comment and rebutting, not demeaning. It's a difference. It's a different term used in. It's a rebuttal. It's a rebuttal to an adverse possession. Somebody trying to take possession of your thought patterns by interjecting negativity is trying to rent space in your head. You heard that saying before about, or if you haven't, it's a good time for you to learn. It's a saying that say, don't allow people to rent space in your head. You know, and what that means is that when you don't address it, the, the subconscious mind will allow them a little space in there, and they'll be written in your mind, in your subconscious mind, because you haven't evicted them, you know, with a rebuttal. And so, um, and that's a writ of possession. That's saying, no, I'm not gonna allow that into my um, processes of thinking, whatever you're trying to interject. And so the same with in court. The reason evidence is so important in court is that um, it, it brings into reality whatever you're thinking in your mind. Okay? And so we all can, what you call that, evaluate how you came about the decision whatever you decided or whatever your claim is. We can only agree with you or affirm or deny your claim if we have it in writing where we can translate and understand what is going on. And that's what an affidavit is. Okay, you we speaking on the terms of affidavit because it it is important to understand what it means to affirm affirm something. Okay, affirm something. You can affirm an artistic value. That's why I said something. And so we use these words to try to explain ourselves sometimes, and we say, oh yeah, I filed an affidavit. And I was watching one of Chris' videos, and he said, we sovereigns don't file nothing. Okay, we don't file anything. Oh, what we do is we record. We want it recorded in the record, for the record, in the record, for the record. And that's why some of the templates that's being provided for people to declare their sovereignty, I have a little issue with it. And the reason why I have a little issue with it is because although providing people with a template does help them to visualize what an affidavit can look like, um, the problem with that is that when I have seen people who provide these affidavits say, here, I'm providing this for you, but do not copy it word for word, okay? And they give people the instructions and tell them the right thing. Now, that's the proper instructions. Hey, I'm showing you what an affidavit look like. I'm showing you mine. I'm showing you an example of somebody else's, or I created one from the one that I did for myself and drafted for myself. And so I'm going to it was effective for me, and so I'm going to give you an example of what works or what can be considered as a valid claim. Okay? For one thing, they're not understanding what they wrote, and so they don't even understand and just tell you an affidavit is just a valid claim. That's all it is. Don't have to be 13 pages long to say what you say, gotta say. That's why they came up with Twitter. Twitter went ballistic because of the fact that you're sending out affidavits all day long. All day long. That's money in the bank. That we're going to get into that later. Y'all gotta first understand what an affidavit is. Um, and when you start exploring the understanding of what it means to affirm something, then you'll start seeing affidavits everywhere, like I do. Um, and sometimes I'll capture those affidavits in my uh, screenshot because I uh, I purpose to capture that information and affirm it as truth or rebut it. Moving right along.
And an affidavit is viewed the same way as standing in court and providing an oral story about something. So it's kind of the same thing, except written down. So an affidavit is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it holds more weight. In a courtroom, evidence is weighed based on its authenticity, and an affidavit is viewed the same way as standing in court and providing an oral story about something. So it's kind of the same thing, except written down. So an affidavit is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it holds more weight. In a courtroom, evidence is weighed based on its authenticity, and an affidavit is viewed the same way as standing in court and providing an oral story about something. So it's kind of the same thing, except written down. So an affidavit is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it holds more weight. In a courtroom, evidence is weighed based on its authenticity, and an affidavit is viewed the same way as standing in court and providing an oral story about something. So it's kind of the same thing, except written down. So an affidavit is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it holds more weight. In a courtroom, evidence is weighed based on its authenticity, and an affidavit is viewed the same way as standing in court and providing an oral story about something. So it's kind of the same thing, except written down. So an affidavit is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it holds more weight. In a courtroom, evidence is weighed based on its authenticity, and an affidavit is viewed the same way as standing in court and providing an oral story about something. So it's kind of the same thing, except writing an oral story about something.
See what I'm saying? It's writing an oral story. She said that real quick. And if you don't pay attention to little nuances like that when people are speaking and understand what those words mean, you'll assume a short video like this couldn't really give you the information you needed, and you'll go to somebody's video where they ranting and raving about the government and listen to all that shenanigans, trying to get information to elevate your knowledge about what's going on, but you'll find that years will pass by and you still will not have an understanding of what's going on in the picture, because not understanding that listening to a whole lot of different things is not going to get you a knowledge and an understanding of one thing. One thing. This one thing is very important, so we're going to hang tight and be discussing affidavits for at least a week. I believe that affidavits need to be discussed for at least a week. Straight affidavits. Let's get it.
So it's kind of the same thing, except written down. So an affidavit is a piece of paper where somebody writes out their version of facts and they sign it stating that what is written on that piece of paper is true. It's kind of like a testimonial, but it holds more weight. In a courtroom, evidence is weighed based on its authenticity.
Now, I will say that she is speaking. We don't promote nothing got to do with Amazon. They trash. Um, she is speaking from a perspective of um, her understanding. That's why she's moving her hands up and down. She try to figure out a way to explain it simple for the audience the best she can. She doing the best she can. Um, but she trying to explain that, and she don't really know what she talking about, so she doing the best she can. Um, what I mean by she don't know what she talking about, Papa say, Candy, why you showing up videos? She don't know what she talking about. Well, the reason why I'm showing the video is because she partly right. He is partly right, and this is something that has dimensions of understanding. So when people display part of a portion of the truth in regards to what she's saying, she is right. She's absolutely right. Um, an affidavit is and can be something written on a piece of paper. And so, since an affidavit is more than just that, that's why I said she don't know what she's talking about, because she don't even know that it's more than that, as she wouldn't have confined an affidavit to a piece of paper. Because there are other forms that you may affirm a truth. And that's what an affidavit is. It's an affirmation. And the most powerful affirmation is the voice, the person speaking. This is why witness testimony is so powerful. And people don't understand how powerful witness testimony is. It's because they're so busy trying to get something wrote down on paper, when something wrote down on paper can be rebutted. It can be contested. If you are speaking and there's no one there to rebut you in oral arguments, I ain't going to go back to her video, but y'all remember, if you can remember, when she said an oral argument. How is a paper oral? Well, it's not. So that shows right there that she's not making no sense in what she said, even though part of what she's saying is true. Okay? Because a piece of paper is not oral. Oral is oral. When you speak, it's an oral statement and or argument to affirm or rebut any statements and or arguments and or evidence admitted to assert the fact, asserted, admitted for the truth asserted is what they call it. It's admitted for the truth asserted, meaning that when you wrote that down, you was intending to make other people think that it was true. And so if you write down a lie, it don't make it the truth. What they do go by in court is, if I do not rebut it, they can consider it as truth. It don't make it truth. It's just that if I don't say, no, that's not true, then it's safe. They feel it's safe for them to believe that it's true because I didn't say no, it wasn't true. And so that's called in assertion of the truth of I'm trying to present my own uh, idea as truth to be reproved, reproved. Check it over. Let's uh, other people determine that it is true in fact, and vouch for it, and put their word behind it, and put their power or their authority behind it, and that's where the Bible, when it talks about two agreeing, two people gotta agree for it to be affirmed. Two people gotta agree. That's what a contract is. Two people agreeing. And so when you drafting up these documents to affirm something or declare, you need to talk about affidavits of declaration. They have affidavits uh, for patents. You know, if you have an idea, business model, like this type of programming is very proprietary. And what that means is um, we the only ones doing it like this, and we have a right that if we see somebody else start having live uh, subscribe channels, we can ask YouTube to take them down because we have a patent pending model. We have a patent pending model. And so I'm just giving y'all a warning right now. Those who won't try to copy off what we doing, we may or may not come through and strike that bitch down. You understand? Because y'all need to let us. A lot of people have a lot of subscribers and stuff like that, and then y'all, because y'all go around stealing other people's ideas, and then people think you're so clever and so creative, and all you did was steal ideas from people with less viewers, so people don't know that you took that idea from somebody else. But this is a master meeting of the masterminds where we come together and share ideas. Share, share, share. If you get an idea from here and we go through and we see that you copied off of us, but you shared where you got the knowledge from, and give credits. This is why you see on the movies where some people might not have got paid on the project, but they got credit for being a part of that project, and they can take that credit and go to someone else and say, hey, see, I was on this project, and it's proof for them to go further and use that experience as a leg up. And so we welcome anyone who want to use us as a leg up in their broadcast. You want to keep your broadcast live, fresh with new content that provokes a larger traffic base and viewership that's more consistent, then have at it. But please, please, please shout us out. Official Essentials is the name of this channel, Official Essentials. And, just tell people to come on over, and they want to get some ideas too. We spitting out ideas 24/7 on this channel. That's all I do is ideas. I wouldn't even be mad if somebody took some of my ideas. I can't do something with all of them. but I do want to get them out because they're good old ideas, good ideas. Why a lot of people copy off of me. That's the reason why I'm a trendsetter. Is because people like to copy off of me, but the reason why our channel has very few subscribers and stuff and views and stuff is because people they come and they view secretly and incognito and they subscribe incognito and stuff like that, and then when they do that, what happens is you thinking, oh, this must not be that good of a content when you seen yourself it was good a content. So what you think is going on? Mm, what's really going on in the picture, you dig? Let's visit the community. Okay, this is essential community. Here are our posts. Tell you how to join live. How to live sovereign. We gotta learn what sovereign means. We started the broadcast explaining what sovereign means. First of all, a lot of people are not understanding what it means to be sovereign. Don't mean that nobody don't have jurisdiction over you. Um, it means that you have jurisdiction over yourself. And that's different from saying nobody has jurisdiction over you. That's different. And how is that different? Well, okay, we got to understand what jurisdiction means. All right? That means judicial authority. Okay? And we the people, okay, this is will help people to get a good understanding of what the word sovereign. Let's go back up here. I'm going to economically stimulate your ass. All the sovereigns community. Okay? Sovereign means that you have matured to a point where there isn't a need for anyone to have custody over you in a manner that, in other words, make you do what's right and what the average common man, what they, how we always say common sense, the average common man consider as right and wrong. We ain't talking about the Christians and smoking and drinking and nothing like that. We talking about morally understanding what's right and what's wrong. If you go in that court and you disrespect the judge because you heard on YouTube that he don't have no power, you are not sovereign. And I'm going to tell you that right off the rip. You are not sovereign, sir. You are not sovereign, ma'am, and that's why they handle your ass like that in the courtroom. Because you are not sovereign. Let me share with y'all a little story uh, of fact and truth of one of my experiences in court. When I went to court for my house and property, um, the judge said one of the first things, I guess he had read my documents and had seen in there, he saw in there that it said that I am sovereign and I'm a man in the land and I have um, fee simple rights, allodial rights on my over the air and land above and below. And anyone who speaks in that manner Someone who's familiar with sovereignty understand that you are sovereign, and this is the reason why you're speaking in this manner. Because only sovereign people know and understand how to claim um, their domain and reign of authority. And that's what sovereignty is all about. Claiming your domain of authority. What or your dominion of authority? What area do you have a authority over? People always say, "Oh, my rights! I have a right to do this. I have a right." You don't have a right to do a motherfucking thing. You have a right to shut the fuck up. You didn't take that. You had a right to shut the fuck up because you didn't know what you was doing. You don't know what you're talking about. Uh, but you didn't exercise that right. You went in court talking shit, and that's what gave the judge jurisdiction over your dumb ass. Okay? And we're going to have some broadcasts where we're going to be discussing in real, not in real time, we'll be discussing it in real time, but we'll scour the internet for some cases that we can review live and discuss what was wrong and what was right and why this happened and why that happened. Because when you go to the sovereign citizen videos and that are getting the most uh, viewers viewership and subscribers to the trash that they putting out. And we'll show you some of that too. We don't want to promote them too much because they already being promoted. I don't even know if I want to visually put that channel on display. Not at all. Because why would I want to promote something that I don't subscribe to? I don't subscribe to uh, speaking down on anyone. I do speak against Christian culture, but not speaking down. It's a difference, and then I have a right to speak against something that I believe is harmful, and so I'm respectful in that matter, and that's what makes me sovereign. When I speak against it, I am very clear with what aspects of it that I am against, because I am not against uh, people believing in spirituality. I'm against religion and the cultic nature of religion and politics. So I speak uh, in reference to that because it has soundness and truth, and it's not defamation when you are speaking on something that is founded. It's defamation when you're just calling it an opinion, but you're actually degrading someone. And it's slander. You know, and I don't know why YouTube allowed this one dude in particular. I don't know why the sovereigns haven't went and reported him and have him took down, because he got people cases up there and he talking about them and he interjecting his thoughts and he doing a lot of lying. He doing a lot of fit, fit, I think it's intentional just to get, his views of people who like that kind of evil, malicious stuff. And it's a lot of people who like that because they be all in his comment section agreeing with him and making their own, adding to it, saying stupid stuff, adding to it. They all stupid. And I have a right to say they stupid, because if you think that that person trying to declare their rights, that they stupid, then who is the stupid one? Your dumb ass the one don't know your rights. Come on now. We gonna keep it real and raw over here. Who's stupid? Who's really stupid? Do you know what constitutional rights are? So a lot of people be going in court and talking about they know their rights. You violate my rights. You violated my right. I have a constitutional right. Constitutional right to do what? That's what I'm talking about. That's a new idea right there. That's how they let me know I'm making money. When I come out with the new titles, that's how they give me a little notification. Candy, you got that money working, baby. New title on the scene. I used to get mad at them scam likely calls till I realized those are notifications to let me know I'm making money. I'm making money. I don't need to have y'all liking and sharing, baby. Lord, them messages keep coming through. Y'all gonna see them hoes be coming, baby. Cause can they always create? That's how you live sovereign. How to understand what's going on. If you still go into YouTube videos to figure out how to be sovereign, then you ain't sovereign. Just hang tight. So if you ain't understanding that, a lot of the people in the videos ain't sovereign neither, then we in this on the same page. All right. Because people who check this out. All right. You sovereign. You have your own domain. All right. Now, when people come on your page, that's like coming in your land. When they come on your page, they come in your land, you welcome them into your little island. You welcome. And you let them know, okay, over here, this is what we do and what we don't do. Those the rules in your jurisdictional reign. On your page, on your channel, on your website, on your Facebook page, whatever like that, in your personal life, you have a right to say what you will and will not accept, what you will do and will not do. You can say, I don't want to work no more. All right, on no job. I want to work for myself. Okay. because I'm sovereign and I understand that um, I'm I'm a leader, and now that I've grown up to be a leader, I understand that I don't belong in a follower or worker bee position. So if you're still working on a job, let's be clear. You are not sovereign. I repeat, you are not sovereign. Let's be clear. The judges, the lawyers in the courtroom are not sovereign. And the reason they are not sovereign is because, hey, I hit a button again. And the reason they are not sovereign is because they have taken an oath to constituency. They have taken an oath to constituency. They wrote out an affidavit stating that they will follow a set rule, policy, and procedures. And so they are, by nature, the job itself is not sovereign. That's saying I'm not going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I was told to do. And this is the reason that if you are sovereign, they don't have jurisdiction over you. It's equal, equal, not below, equal, equal to you. And that's where people are going wrong, saying that the government people are subservient to civilians. That is incorrect. Um, the capacity of their office is subservient, but their position and or status in society is not at all subservient. That's why they put your ass in jail. Come on now, keep it real. Take your ass back to fantasy land.